How y'all doing today? My name's Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be pettiness. Pettiness. Now, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about the little things that get under your skin, the small things that annoy you, whatever they may be, your pet peeves that they're so small and they're so annoying, they eat away at you, which in turn causes you to eat away at whatever the situation is, and it results in severed relationships, fractured relationships, enmity between you and another person, or just general feelings of sourness between the both of you. And it's funny because once you address those issues, even though they are meaningful to you, even though they may seem small to you, or it may seem small to the other person, they still drive a wedge in between you because they just really rub you the wrong way. And the reason why you feel guilty, or you feel like once the situation is just really spurned into this big altercation or this falling out, you're just like, man, that was really small. But the fact of the matter is, the reason why you feel like that is because now you've addressed it. So you don't feel as bad because you've addressed that issue. And when you look back on it, you're like, man, that was just something small. It was something with me. My take on it, when I'm thinking about something being petty, I'm thinking about things that just do everything that I just got done mentioning. I mean, it really rubs me the wrong way. One of the things that rubs me the wrong way is you're telling me you're going to do something and you don't have any follow through. Or you oversell me on something. You tell me that you're going to do something, and to trump it up, to make sure that you're really trying to sell this idea to me or get me on your team, you make it bigger than what it is. So you know that you're going to fall short. And I think when it's coming from these people's standpoints, sometimes they're trying to put things in this package to sell it to you because they really want you on board, or they really want your backing behind whatever it is that they're doing. And they're really trying to negate the rejection that you may give. So they're setting it up in a way to where it's just basically, in their mind, it seems like it's a win-win-win all the way around for them. It seems like it's a win for you because you're getting something up out of it and you're happy to be doing it. They're getting you to do whatever it is that they originally were setting out to do, and they don't have to worry about rejection. So the win-win-win. That's what I'm thinking about with it. The problem with that, though, is more often than not, those aren't realistic expectations. Since they're not realistic expectations, there's no realistic follow through. There's not a realistic view of you holding up your end of the bargain. You don't have any incentive to really do that because you really were just trying to set out to do or accomplish whatever it was that you were just trying to do. You're just happy with the end result. You don't care how you get there, and you don't care if you fulfill your end of the bargain. That rubs me the wrong way to no end. It's the same way with lending people things. Now, I consider myself to be stingy. Wasn't always stingy, but the thing is, people don't respect your stuff. I'm taking a different turn here with this pettiness to show you on how things may be small. People go, oh, well, you know, it's just a material thing. It's just, you know, basically it's the flip side of what everything I just got done saying beforehand. When I'm talking about how people trump up and they sell you things, but then when things fall short on your end and they're to blame for it, then they underplay them. They undersell them to you. Oh, well, don't be like that. Don't be. And the point that I'm getting to in both of these points that I'm talking about is it leads back to their benefit. It's not yours. And it never really was about you. Now, on what I'm saying about being stingy, there's a few instances when I reflect back on it, I'm like, man, were you always stingy with your things? What happened? And I'm like, no, I wasn't. I remember one time I lended an item out. Person came over the house. Oh man, you have this? Man, I've been looking for this everywhere. I couldn't find this anywhere. Fact of the matter is, what they were asking for, they didn't make any more of. So I lended them this item. Didn't even think anything about it, because this person they're not stingy. They're really giving. So it's just only natural to kind of, reciprocate that. I'm like, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and use it. I'm not using it for now. This person had this item so long that I forgot that I even had it. I was laying up in the bed one night, and my attention had come to using this item that I had lended them. And I'm like, man, I really got to get my hands on whatever that is. And I'm like, wait a minute. You have that. So I got up out of the bed. I don't know, it might have been 10, 11 o'clock. I was a teenager. I was in school, or probably on my way to school, college, whatever it may be. So I called the person. I'm like, hey, you still got that item? Oh, I loaned it to somebody. I'm like, man, I'll get it back. A couple of weeks go by, maybe even a month or so. Call them back. I'm like, hey, the person I loaned it to, they loaned it to somebody. Now I'm getting agitated because I'm sitting up here thinking about, you shouldn't have loaned it out in the first place. But me and this person, we had a really good relationship, and I really didn't want to come off like that, because we just never had any. We just never had any friction in our relationship. It had been a really positive interaction between the both of us. So some more time passed by, and they were still saying the same thing. Yeah, they loaned it out. Man, I'll get you another one. The fact of the matter is, they knew, and this is what I'm talking about in the beginning of this video. They knew when they loaned it from me, borrowed it from me. They knew that this was not an item that you could find any longer, because they had looked high and low. But here it is, they found what they needed in me. So now you got this commodity, this item from me, and instead of you treating it, treasure it, just like how you looked high and low for it, and then the way that you sought out to ask me for it, when you got it, it was nothing to you. You didn't pay anything for it. And you knew exactly how hard it was to come by. So you loaned it out. Now I'm coming up short, and all I get is I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about. There was another instance. I remember, it's two more instances. I remember one instance, I had loaned a video game out, a disc out. This was years ago. I had just purchased it, and I'm like, man, this game, this is awesome. A friend of mine, man, my cousins would like that, because they're all about this, that, and other. Yeah, here, can I borrow it? Yeah, you can borrow it. Now, the thing was, since I was in purchasing the items that I had purchased, I had good relationships with the people that I purchased them from, so the stores and what have you, and you could bring back and exchange, and I'd often done this. I loaned this to this person, so I'm like, okay, time to give it back. So I got it back, disc was all scratched up. So just so happened, this was an item that I wanted to take back to the store, and I remember taking it back to the store, and since I did do this with this person, I had a connection with the retailer that I had purchased this from. They were like, man, this disc is all scratched up. I have to sell these again. Again, falls up on me. The same person, I remember I was telling them about this book, and they were like, man, it was a comic book, but they had written it in a novel form. I'm telling them about this book, and they were like, yeah, man, just don't even tell me any more about it. Let me read it. I'll put it this way. That was back when I was, man, I'd probably say early 20s or whatever. If I'm thinking, I think I'm mixing this up with it was a book that I had loaned to him. Yeah, because where I was working at with this one place, I'd gotten this deal. But anyway, long story short, I loaned the book to him. Actually, I am thinking of the same story. I'm just thinking about the timelines that's messed up. Still to this day, that was early 20s, hadn't gotten this book back. I even mentioned it to him, And I'll get that back to you. So after these occurrences of having these things, even though they're small and they're petty, and to these people, they seem like they're not big ordeals. It's just like, I don't want to go down that path with you. And this has really rubbed me the wrong way. Same thing with things I've done, engaging in interactions and things with people or services, and you get oversold on whatever it is that they're doing, and it's nothing like what they told you it was going to be, whether it was you doing something for them, and then, oh, don't worry about it, you do this, we'll have it right, and you're just coming up short. So with that being said, the reason why I'm taking this time out to explain these interactions, kind of letting you see, because I think that if I just would have mentioned them surface level, you have some people out there that's like, it's not a biggie. But the more that I tell these stories and I put yourself, and you're able to put yourself in the shoes of the person giving these small items out, it becomes an annoyance. So before long, I noticed that I was stingy. I didn't like loaning out things. I'm like, hey, look, you want it, you go get it. Because I like to take care of my things. Now, to that is the title of this video, pettiness. People like to call you petty. Man, that's petty. You're going to let this relationship, be shaped, or you're going to come at me like this because this is petty? Yeah, because you don't respect things. What I'm saying with all of this that I'm telling you through all these interactions, all these altercations, all of these times, and I don't know if I said it earlier in the video with the commodity of that item that I loaned that person when they said that they had loaned it to another person. Finally, when I did check on it before I just let it go, and I'll get it back, I was like, no, you know what? You shouldn't have loaned it out anyway. And then I hung up the phone. Not saying that you should do that, but it just really had rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm just kind of telling you some of the paces that I was put through in trying to obtain something that was mine, which I had no business doing. So throughout the years, I just learned, I'm just like, hey, you know what? You don't like that? Don't engage in it. So what I'm saying is like with the pettiness, when I'm thinking about things that are overpromised, things that are said, things that are done, yeah, they are small. And one of the things that I've learned, and all of the stories that I'm telling you here, is one of the things that I've learned is I'm just like, hey, look, if you give a person a chance up on something and you come up on the short end of the stick, and just like one of these scenarios that I'm sitting up here telling you about, let it go. Just let it go, chuck it up as a loss, and just try not to engage in that type of situation or that behavior or to that extent with that person again. Now, I want to double back on this first story that I was talking about with me loaning this person this item. I remember that same person, they came over to the house, might have been a year or two later, because they were just in the neighborhood, or it could have been months. We talking about a long time ago. I remember they were looking through my CD collection. Had my CDs all in the towers that you used to have back then. And they were, oh man, you got this CD? I love this CD. Man, oh man. Before they could even get it out their mouth, I'm like, oh, you want to hear it? Yeah. I placed the CD in the CD player, played the song. I'm like, you really like that? Yeah, man, I love that song. Hey, you want to hear it again? Yeah. Played the song again. I'm like, okay, you had enough? Put it back in the case and put it away. Because I'm like, you're not getting your hands on that CD. See, people will make you what they call petty. My question to you is it petty if I do it to you? Pettiness. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about pettiness. So, if you could take away something that I'm saying from everything in this video about these small things, these petty situations, let them go. Just chuck it up as a loss. And just know, hey, look, I don't want to repeat this again. Because it is something that's small, but yet is meaningful to me. So, opposed to severing this whole relationship, we just won't deal in this way anymore. We can still be friends. We can still, everything else be. And, one of the reasons why I'm taking the time out to talk about this up off in the video is because when I think back on these things, when you're trying to handle them in a healthy, positive way, And you can see, that's the reason why I provided the amount of examples that I did. People don't care because they're not the ones coming up on the short end of the stick. And when you address it, no matter how much sugar you put on it, how much you tap dance around it, you just really try to handle it with care, you're chalked up as being petty or them getting the attitude up off of it because, like I said, they're not coming up short up on it. The best way that I can tell you to move forward in these things is chalk it up as a loss. Because at the end of the day, you can't make anybody do anything. Chalk it up to a loss and just try not to go down that path with them again. Doesn't have to change you. That's the reason why I gave you 3 different stories from 2 different people. And you know, there were more little occasions up on things in my life, but I'm just thinking about those 3 occasions that had to do with materialistic things that just rubbed me the wrong way. And if I was to think about it, or if I had made it a lot bigger than what it was, it really could have like severed the friendship, because it just let things get up under my skin. And one of the points of me making this video as well, because I had a family member where they basically had like a lifelong relationship, and it was severed off of nothing, off of something that was just petty. Even to somebody on the outside listening to what had transpired, it just may seem small and really insignificant, and the relationship is severed off of it. And it's just like, when I thought about what had really transpired, what had really taken place, it was just like, man, you let this manifest for all this time, and you tried to one-up them in a petty way, and you just made the situation worse. So that's what resulted in the loss of this relationship being like how it was. So let it go. I know that they bother you. That's the reason why I started out this video talking about these little insignificant things that may be insignificant to others, but they really rub me the wrong way. And it really can make me view a person in a different way, because I'm just like really agitated. Because I'm just like, man, you lied to me. You told me you were going to do something and you lied to me. And it's just like, how can I move forward? How can I move forward? Let it go. And I ain't going to give you opportunity to lie to me again. Pettiness. Topic of today's video. In the meantime, stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. My name's Ayin. You have a good one.